When I spoke to Michel, before we got onto the subject of his solo playing, I was interested to know why, on his new album, Marvellous, he'd given up working with a synthesizer player and opted instead for a string quartet.
Well, I kept the same thing as the synthesizer, but instead of using a machine, I used 4 people. But I used the string quartet in the same way as a background.
And did you score for them, writing?
Yes, I wrote the scores, yeah, and the songs, except for 2 songs. Y is for my brother Philippe, and Bésame Mucho is an old Spanish composer, which right now I don't remember the name.
No, I love the track. I think it's very good. We like it.
But I did the arrangement on that, on both.
Right. And, I mean, it looked to me also as if in the same time you're adding to the gallery of remarkable people that you've worked with. Had you worked with Dave Holland before?
Yes, I have, in the States. But we never record. Well, yes, we did record together with Ed Blackwell, a record from Joe Lovano. It was Joe Lovano, Ed Blackwell, Dave, and myself. And before that, we toured together in the States. He was in my band with Elliot Zygmunt at the drums. And we shared the stage for about 3 weeks, around the United States.
Right, but that band didn't record?
No, unfortunately not.
What about Tony? Had you worked with him?
No,
before?
never. Well, I did the Grammy Awards with him in Los Angeles a while ago. Like 7, 8 years ago, and that was, but you know how it is, it's TV, and only 10 minutes, we just shook hands and play one number that was directed by a director anyway, and it was not so what we wanted to do, we were just there on stage, and that was it, and then I called him, I remember calling Dave for this project, the Marvelous project. I called him up and I said, Dave, I'm having this record and I'm putting a string quartet together. And Dave answered me, he said, oh, you wrote some wonderful music, I'll be there. So that was very touching to me. I really didn't even ask any questions or when or anything like that. He said, I will be there. And that really made me happy. And then as far as Tony, Tony just, I think, wanted to be part of this project because he thought it was a good idea. And I think he wanted to work with me as a young piano player, coming in the business, sort of, for the last 10, 15 years. But, I'm still, compared to the other people he had worked with, like Miles and Herbie Hancock and people like that, I think he just wanted to check me out. And the thing, I made a lot of drummers jealous by working with Roy Haynes. Because when I started to work with Roy Haynes in 1987, all the drummers wanted to work with me after that. Because they said, if the master works with Michel, it's got to be something good.
I was going to ask you about that, and you've forestalled me there, because I've certainly heard that about Roy, that people...
Yeah, because Roy, went on the road with me for 2 months. And I remember Jack DeJohnette called me up. He says, hey, is that true? Roy is coming with you for 2 months? 2 whole months? I said, yeah. He said, unbelievable. Talk to you later. Oh, and that was it, And it was really, everybody was amazed because Roy doesn't go out on the road too much, as a sideman, maybe with Pat Metheny or people like that, but not even for 2 months. And then later on, I asked Roy, I said, why did you come with me? And he said, I just wanted to check you out. So I wanted to know what you were about. And he said, it's great, and we became great friends, Roy and I, sometimes we see each other and play. I remember in Paris, he was doing a concert. And he saw me, he said, hey, come and play a tune. And he said, play She Did It Again, which is a song I wrote, we recorded together. But I'm talking to you like 5 or 6 years later. And he remembered all the arrangements, everything. He has an incredible memory. I said, I could remember that. He said, man, I have all kind of things in my head. I remember everything I've done, which is amazing.
Yeah, it's extraordinary.
Yeah, Roy is extraordinary.
So you're going to be working more with Dave and Tony?
Well, that's a more difficult task because they all have their bands. It would be like an all-star situation, and you know how it is traveling around Europe with that kind of situation. Sometimes it gets difficult, it gets expensive, and so I would love to do a project, maybe or two, 2 or 3 special concerts, but to do a tour, really touring like that, it would be very difficult, I think, right now. Because Tony has his band and he wants to work with his band, and so does Dave.
Right, so now you're down to the exact opposite, which is touring on your own, which must be the easiest thing to do in some ways.
Well, I really believe that a piano player is not complete until he's capable of playing by himself. And I started last year in February. I said to my agent, I said, look, cancel everything, I want to be alone. And he said, okay, we'll try it. And I'm very happy. This is almost towards the end of the experience now because I'm starting with the string quartet in March. And I had a wonderful time playing alone and discovering the piano and really studying every night. It was an experience that really made me look forward to play every night. I was like, because I'm learning so much about the instrument, the piano, the communication with the people. So it's really incredible. I really, really, really love that. Love doing that. And if I can, I would like to do it every once in a while. But doing 1 year, all alone, it was a good thing, and I feel much better about it now because I'm more confident about my playing and I'm more confident on stage. And now, if I get with other people, you can imagine it's a piece of cake, really, because everybody's there. So, I can already do everything by myself. So now when I get some great help, then forget it. It's right in the pocket,
Right, and how do you feel, because 10 years ago you made some albums on your own, and do you recognise a difference in your own playing from those early solo albums for Al?
Of course. I'm 31 now, and I started, I think my first record I was 17, So it's a big difference. I hear it and I smile now, going, yeah, okay, I had some good ideas, but of course everybody grows, I would hope so anyway. And for me, I'm not near where I want to be yet, in terms of practicing and playing. I think that the day I think of myself like I know everything, I will change job. I will do something else, because one of the most appealing pleasure of playing the piano and playing music in general, whatever kind of music you play, is to be able to learn every day and to know that you don't know anything. I know that I don't know. That I know for sure.
When you started to learn, what were the things that you first found most enjoyable and exciting about the piano?
It's very banal, what I'm going to say. It's just the exciting thing about the piano is a very complete instrument that you could do everything with the piano. It could be percussive, it could be melodic, it could be harmonic, everything. That's one. And also now, as I grow together with the instrument, inside the instrument, I really love the feeling of the piano, the physical aspect of playing the piano, the keys and the sound of the wood, and just touching the instrument. I think it's very, very special. And that's why sometimes if I don't get a good piano, it's really difficult for me. It makes me sad because there's nothing I can do with it. It's like trying to heal somebody very, very sick, and that person's going to die, and you try everything, to try to save that instrument, and the instrument is dying, and it's very, it's a sad feeling because it's like a person going away almost, that you love very much.
Yes, I read somewhere in Le Jazz Hop that you said that you looked at it and there's the keyboard smiling at you like a row of teeth.
That was a long time ago. When I opened the keys, it was like, big teeth going like, like nasty a little bit, going like, okay, what are you going to do with me now? But that was a long time ago, the imagination of children.
Yeah. Going back to musical influences then, what were the musical things that really set you going?
I like music in general. I like all kind of music, rock and roll, classical music, jazz music. And I don't like everything about all those styles. There's things in jazz that I don't like and so on, What appeals me about music is the rhythm, is the heartbeat, is the communication, is the melody. I love the melody. I love to play something that is clear enough so the people, when they listen to it, they could remember it. And it's not something vague or just a sound like that, that it's hard to recreate. I think you should be able to sing every note I play. Really, if you could do that, then I'm happy, because this is, for me, what music is all about. It's got to be clear. It's like language. It's like a fluid. When you talk to somebody, you have to go right to the point and not blabbermouth for 3 hours just to say, let's have a cup of coffee.
Right. So when I listen to you, I hear that clarity in your touch. I think you have a very individual touch.
Well, I think that's one of the preponderant thing in my style, is that I am clear. I'm trying to be more and more clear, and the problem with that is the difficulty is when I make a mistake, it's outrageous, it's horrendous. It's like, it's really horrible because everything else is clear, and sometimes, like I'm a human being and I do miss a few notes, and that really makes me sad. It really pisses me off, But it's okay. I work on that. I work on and it's not really a technique, because technique for me is the prostitute of music. It's when you have no more ideas, in your mind and your creativity, that doesn't function anymore, then you use the techniques to fill up the holes. And if you know exactly what you're doing, and if you mean exactly what you do, then the technique is irrelevant, because everything comes to your hands, immediately, and the clearness and the fluence of your ideas come through without any problem.
Let me ask you an odd question. Do you hear music in your head all the time?
No, I don't. No, music for me is becoming like a torture, because it's something so serious, it's something so intense for me that I'm almost scared now to even think about music. I orchestrate my time. There's a time for everything. There's a time to just, I call it to my friends, I say, I close the store. The shop is closed now. I don't even, I just do other things. I watch TV or cook or hang out with my friends and, have a good time and not think about the music. I don't even listen to music. And then when the shop is open, then I really concentrate on that. And I have a few ideas that I concentrate on and work on. And that could last for a period of maybe 6 months or 2 months or a week or whatever. Usually that intense moment of musical thinking is when I have to do a record, or if I write songs, And like when I write songs, I don't write songs just to write songs. I write songs for people. I write songs either for musicians that I know I'm going to work with, like on the Marvelous album. I wrote for Tony and Dave, because Dave has that that musical intelligence. He's got that lyricism within his music, and Tony has that power and that lovable force, like a big, enormous, gentle giant, And I wrote for them because I thought it was the perfect combination. And right in the middle of that, you have the string quartet.
And you also write for people that you know, just friends, presumably, as well.
Well, you're talking about the string quartet now.
I was thinking of that, and I was thinking of some of the portraits and pictures tunes you've written.
Oh yeah, sure. I can write for my family or my friends or just events or what happened to me or things like that. But I never just write like that. I don't think it's possible to write music. Yeah, it's okay, but it doesn't have the same, I think, intelligence.
You mentioned your family, and you started out, didn't you, with the family
band?
band?
Yeah, everybody plays in my family. I have two brothers. Louis, that plays the acoustic bass, he's, by the way, going to be on the tour with the string quartet, and Lenny White on drums. And another brother called Philippe, and he writes songs, and so I take some of his songs sometimes, and he plays the guitar as well. My father is a guitar player as well, and he's the one that taught me everything I know.
And then when you arrived in the States, I was very intrigued reading about the effect you had on Charles Lloyd when you got there.
You should ask him that. I don't know about that.
Did he have an effect on you?
Oh yeah, of course. He taught me how to be a leader, because he's an incredible leader. He's the only person I ever worked with that when you're with him on the stage, you want to play good. He just had that energy that is so strong that you're just happy to play good for him. You want to deliver the work for him, to him, like a master. You just go and say hello. This is what I learned today, and he just had that force really. His playing had that energy, and he's very special. I think he's very unique in that way. Miles was a little bit the same. If Miles would leave the bandstand, the band would go way down. The sound of the band, especially later. I'm not talking in the old days when you had Wayne Shorter and Herbie and all those guys, but the more electric band that he had, young guys that could play good. But as soon as Miles would go away, it was something else.
Have you worked with other people that have had that effect when you've been playing, that you felt their kind of chemistry pulling you up?
Well, not like Charles Lloyd, no, never. Charles Lloyd is the only one I really had that feeling. Then I worked with Wayne and Wayne Shorter and Jim Hall. Jim Hall is another kind, is more intellectual, more introverted, right? Introvert, thank you. And more the how do you say, the holding on to your excitations and things like that. More control. He taught me the control of the instrument and to do the right thing at the right time and be precise.
Yes, I was very intrigued listening to the two of you, how because you're both playing chordal instruments, the way that you stay out of each other's way, but you kind of fire out.
Mm-hmm. It's the restrained force, I call it. It's like you hold on, but whenever you get an opening, you go, you punch out. It's like boxing a little bit.
I wonder if you could just, very briefly, give me some kind of background to your thoughts about Ellington.
I think Ellington, as I sit on the stage every night when I play his music, I just say this. I say Duke Ellington is probably one of the most creative composer of the 21st century and the century to come. And that's, for me, Duke Ellington is like the Mozart of today, you know. He's got that incredible creativity, and the songs he wrote are just amazing. You get everything, you know. You get the feelings, you get the swing, you get the melody, you get the chord changes, you get simplicity and complexity, everything, you know. And so Duke is really exceptional for me. He was also the one, but that's a more personal point of view. I mean, nobody cares about that, but he was the one that made me play the piano, because I remember when I saw him on TV, I was like, it really did that to me. You know, it's something that you can't really explain. First of all, because I was too young to even remember, you know, clearly enough to be concrete here, you know, in front of the microphone, telling you what I felt. But I remember feeling something that really touched me deep inside. You know, it was like something very strong, a statement, a message, you know. And that's what Duke's music has to offer, is a strong message, a strong thing that is an almost mystical experience. It's something you can't forget, and you can't. It's strange. I can hardly believe people living without knowing Duke Ellington. I mean, it's like, you know, there's this Walt Disney, Bugs Bunny. There was a cartoon of Bugs Bunny, and it was funny because they were talking, and they said, you know, there's the Duke, there's the Count of Basie and the Duke of Ellington, and, you know, and it was like, really, that's it, you know, they're a part of our environment, I think, those people. They're very important.
Michel Petrucciani.